Today is July 30th, so I've been a couple of weeks since my last update. So look at the peppers. These are the pepper that was planted really late. Start flowering, so I remove the leaves on the bottom for it to grow a little bit taller and a little bit produce a little bit more. So this is getting there. So there are about 2 more months of growth season here in Minnesota. So I think we will have some peppers later in the season. Okra are growing well. I think those are flower buds. I think there could be some okra later in the season. So this is start to grow really well, and the watermelons are growing really well actually. So this is the first year I plant this on the trellis, and this one is getting pretty big. It's about cantaloupe size right now, and I'll put a net there and connect to a hook on the top. There are a couple more. There's this one. I just put a net here. It's grown a little bit big. There are a few more here. So this one are. No, we're getting there. Maybe in a couple more days, I'll put nets also on this watermelon. Also, there was another one here. It's about the size of a golf ball right now, and overall it's getting really well. I think I have 6 watermelon plants. I will be really happy if I get about 6 watermelons from them. Here are the melons I grow. See, there are some, they're really small at this point. You can see, start flowering, and it's still very small at this point. So, but yep, this one is a little bit bigger. So this kind of Chinese melon that's similar to a cucumber but bigger. Tastes much better, but it's not sweet. So this is it's pretty healthy. So this is the melon half of my first trellis. On this side, remember we have the Chinese green beans. This is the one that's that plant a little bit later. It has been grown really well, almost reached to the top of the trellis at this point. It just start flowering. You see, there are no beans on the bottom, so you have to go all the way up before it starts to flower. But overall, it's grown really well. Let's move to our second trellis. This is the long beans. So the long beans were planted here. As you can see, last time we checked, there are only a few flowers. Now you can see a lot of beans start growing. It's really growing really well, really healthy. And there's quite a few beans here. So hopefully within the next couple weeks, so this will be mature enough to be picking. So you can see there are more beans on the side. Then if you move inside, there's less beans there. I think it's because of sunlight. There's more sunlight towards the end of the tunnel than this side. So, but by the time you reach this side, there's a few more beans here. So I think the sunlight definitely matters. So we get more beans at the end tunnel. This is west, toward the west. There are definitely more beans there than as you move inside. So the third trellis is our bean trellis, and these are the beans that grew that's planted a little bit earlier, and they have heavy Japanese beetle damage. And this year is really hot and dry here in Minnesota. I think that's part of the reason it didn't grow all the way up. But for that matter, for this half of the beans grew really tall, it's doing really well. So we are still trying to figure out why. One possible reason is because these beans are transplant. What that means is we plant the bean in a container first, and then they are transplanted into this trellis. While these beans are planted directly. We plant the seeds directly into the trailers or into the raised bed. Maybe that's a part of the reason why it's growing better, taller, while those ones are shorter and seem like it's struggling to grow up. So I think moving on for next year, we will just plant them directly into the raised bed garden. We are not going to do the seeding step in a pot. So but otherwise it's okay, I think. So we harvest some beans already. You can see there's still some beans we can pick later. That definitely hopefully you can go higher, so we can produce more. You can definitely have no problem going all the way up to the trailers. From the previous years, you can definitely go all the way up. As you can see, there's just a lot of Japanese beetles all over the place. I think this is a plant they really love. This is their preferred plant. And even for the long beans, you can see there's barely any Japanese beetle damage at all, and also there's no damage to the cucumber. But these beans they really love. This is their preferred. So there's a couple of cucumber here. That happened when I think some of the beans didn't survive. We will transplant them. So to fill the space, we put in some cucumbers, and they are start to producing already. So which are pretty good. And let's see what happens. Hopefully, this can revive and grow taller to produce more beans later in the season. The tomatoes is still the mess is getting worse. So I haven't done much to do to this, and eventually I will try to see you can save these tomato plants by tie them to the trailers on this side. But currently it's just a mess. Eggplants are doing well. You can see there's a lot of flower buds, and there's also flowering here, and there's a small baby eggplant down there. They're growing really well. I might think out I think one thing to help it grow is improve the circulation, air circulation. One way to do that is remove all the leaves on the bottom, and you will not affect the growth of the plant, and you will generate more circulation. It help the overall health of the overall health eggplant. So most likely I will start to remove the leaves on the bottom for all these plants to help the circulation. Also, I will do something to this mess, and hopefully that will also help. Currently, I cannot even walk into this part of the garden, and it's all filled with tomatoes. The cucumber are doing great, and so you can see it has fully covered the entire trellis, as you can see, all the way up, and there are cucumbers all the way top there, and it's just really beautiful. Really grow all the way to the top, and you can see it's even overshoot and dripping down here. Yeah, so this trellis is at least 8 feet tall. It can grow all the way up, and there are a lot of cucumbers. You can see there's a lot of them almost ready to be picking, and all the way to the bottom, and also here, as you can see, there's a lot of them, and it's really this year really doing great. Feel like cucumber really good to grow on trellis, and they are doing really great. We have been eating cucumber every day like crazy, and that's still there's still so many of them, and we also have shared with friends and neighbors. So cucumber is doing great. It's definitely good for growing on trellis, and they are. So this is the most successful vegetable in the garden this year. So here, remember this is the fifth trellis. Is all beans. This also planted a little bit earlier. They're suffering the same problem as the other ones. So they're not really growing much. They should, by this time, this should have reached all the way to the top, but they haven't. They're growing really slow, and they're not really produce much. I mean, there's just a few beans on the bottom here and there, but really not doing that well. The last trellis, so half of them are beans, the other half are melons. The melons are growing pretty well. I mean, almost to the top, but it's not producing much. There's some flowers, but haven't seen much fruits on this melon. This is the same melon as the few melon in the first trellis. Let me see if I can find one. Look at this. The same melons, and but haven't seen many fruits here. But this can grow until later in the season. So hopefully, when it goes up at the top, there will be more melons. And this half of the beans are the same problem. It's really not growing up and not really producing much at all. So here is the broccoli in the last raised bed gardening, and it's growing really well. As you can see, it's gigantic already, and it's growing really well. I don't see any flower yet, so this is my first year growing broccoli. Not really sure what to expect. Hopefully we can get something later in the year. These are the sad peppers. One is overgrowing, and there are a couple of ones they're not growing. As you see, there's a pepper there. Yeah, this update on the garden on July 30th. So I think the growth season for me started maybe a couple more months before the season start to end. So everything is doing well, and some of them are better than others. I think the best one is still the cucumber, which are doing great, and the watermelon also doing great. The long beans are doing well, and okay, great. We'll update in another week or two to show the progress again. Next, bye bye.